Can you explain to us the design a little bit?
Yeah, I'll get Sonny to come. Well,
What do you want me? What do you want me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I had the privilege to design 2024 jumper, and with partnership with my first cousin Daniel McHenry. Daniel's got the artistic brain in the family, and I've got the footy brains in my family. But with both of us, we've done a good job, I reckon. So when I got drafted many years ago, we had the anchor style jumper with the green and red and the white and the purple. So I wanted to bring back the old flavours, the old colours, especially with it being the 30th year at the footy club. So I wanted to recognise the past, and also with the bloodlines as well. So the bloodlines are our Aboriginal family. It's like our family tree. So for myself and Daniel. So I wanted to recognise the past as well. So the bloodlines that we have come from, and where we are now. So let's go back to the Fremantle flavour. You got the green and the red on either side. And you can go back to the old anchor. So we used the boomerang with two spears. If you flip around, sorry. I wanted to recognise the past players over the last 30 years that represented Fremantle, the Indigenous players. So down the bottom, wanted to bring in the Walyalup logo that we use over these 2 to 3 rounds. And use the name, and down on his butt cheeks we've got every Indigenous AFL and AFLW player listed down there, again recognising them. In and around the number, you can see Dale Kickett's design. Now Dale Kickett is part of my family tree, so I wanted to recognise one of my family members, and also Roger's little boomerangs from the first ever jumper. Again, Roger's part of my family tree as well from the Maguire side. So yeah, I just wanted to bring back the old flavours of Fremantle and recognise the past players in the club. So spin back around, Sonny. And then when you go to the family tree, we're talking about our great-grandparents on either side. You got my grandparents in the middle, and then you got my mum and her siblings surrounding that. If you follow the bloodlines, it goes up to the chest, over the heart. You got my side over here with my 3 kids and their bloodline, and Daniel's and his 5 kids and their bloodline. So wanted to recognise the past. In the boomerang, you got little people in there. That represents the supporters that have been part of this journey over the last 30 years. Mum grew up on, my family is from the Ballarong tribe, and that's your Yorks. So you got Chance Bateman designing a jumper this year for Hawthorn. Byron Pickett's from the same area. He's designed the Port Adelaide jumper. Leon Davis has designed the Collingwood jumper this year, and myself. So you got 4 Ballarong Noongars designing jumpers this year. So part of that is, me as a kid driving out to Quirting where Mum grew up. You go through the wheat belt. So there's little patterns down through. You can see it down here and down the bottom. They're the patterns of the wheat belt when you're driving out there as a young kid, or when I was driving out there as a young kid. So that's the design, and we from the start we've had the Stolen Generation flower on top, recognising the Kimberley Stolen Generation and the WA Stolen Generation. So we have a really good partnership with those guys.
How much does it mean to your family and your community that like you said, 3 or 4 of you are designing jumpers, and it's so recognised within the AFL?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know the other guys were designing them, and so you look back, like you see a lot of these guys when you go to family funerals out that way. You might see Byron, you might see Chance, and the others. So, that's the more the sad side of things. But then you get to tell a story on a jumper about your own culture and where your family's from. I grew up in Perth, and so I'm a city boy, but when I go back to country, I feel connected, and that's the stories that I heard from the past, the aunties and uncles and the rest of the family. So you eventually get a story, because we made our way back out to Quirting with a couple of the elders, out to Badgerling with the elders, and hopefully the club will get that out shortly, but it's it's recognising what they went through over the last many years, that the struggles that they had out there, especially out in Badgerling Mission, and but yeah, when you make your way out there, you just connect with the country.
But when they see the jumper, do they really feel a sense of pride and enjoy seeing it on the bus?
Yeah, it's a bit of a process. So you're showing little photos on your phone, so it's real hard to describe it and show them. But taking the jumpers out there and having my aunties and my mum have a look at it, and then you can see the smiles on their faces just when you tell them the story. So we did connect with them just to see what they wanted in there and if they were happy with it. But then again, it's Daniel and my story that we put on there, so they're pretty stoked to be recognised part of this journey.
John, great job, mate. Well done, and obviously strong connection with Perth Footy Club from that area too.
Yep.
Yeah, through that email.
Yeah, great, man. Hey, can I ask you? You may not know this, or Tanya might. On the back, how many players? What is the number of players that have represented?
We can find that out.
Yeah, we'll find that.
On account?
So we.
It's a lot, isn't it?
It is a lot, yeah. So there are a couple of players that are on there that didn't play a game, but I've been on my own AFL journey, and a lot of those players were in and out, but they were in this inner sanctum. They were in these four walls, and they were part of the journey, ups and downs of the club. Yeah, they didn't play a game, but they need to be recognised. So you'll have a couple of players on there that never played a game, both men and women's side. But that was a big part of the jumper design. I wanted to recognise the past players that have been here over the 30 years.
Yeah, I love that you've done that. What does it mean to you as a past player that the club not only continues doing this, but they've sort of taken the lead in the whole area of Indigenous footy? What does it mean to you personally?
Oh yeah, it's going back when I first got drafted. There was players on the list that I always looked up to, and I was lucky enough to be a Dockers supporter and being drafted by the club I supported. And getting down here with you got your Jeff Farmers, your Troy Cooks, Anthony Grovers, Roger Hayden, Dion Woods, Troy Cooks. Did I say Troy Cook twice? But those players I looked up to, and those guys are the ones that. Or even just before them, or Des Heldon as well, the players before them, they're the pioneers of the footy club, and to have a number of Indigenous players each year, even on the AFLW side, each year, so you can see they're really passionate in this space. The club is in this space, so it's not only the players on the list, it's what they do inside the club as well. The reconciliation action plan and the way they engage with your Kimberleys, the NGAs, your other waffle clubs with the NGAs, with the Roger Hadrian's works at the moment. But it's been, even when I was playing, we took control as senior players on any issue that's come to us, and then you pass it on to someone like Sonny Walters, and he looks after the younger guys coming through. So, I'm proud to stand up here and say Fremantle's been strong in this field, and I don't think we'll slow down anytime soon. Does
more need to be done, you reckon, given I've seen that the Indigenous numbers are dropping in the AFL? What do you think about that?
It's a hard one. Everyone's, there's not too many spots on AFL list these days. Might change when Tasmania and the next club comes in, but there is talent in your state programs, but then comes down to the elite players. So we're lucky enough to have the NGA. So you can see there's a lot of talent of Aboriginal kids, Indigenous kids coming through the Fremantle NGA at the moment. Even the West Coast Eagles, they've young Tyrell Dewar played his first game on the weekend. He was from the Next Generation Academy over there. So you can see there are pathways for them. Maybe there's not enough elite players at the moment, but these NGA programs will help Indigenous players come into the system.
And would you like to see a team in the Northern Territory? Do you think that could work?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you can see how Tasmania's going at the moment with the inaugural members. So there'll be a strong backing up there for sure. So yeah, it will be good to see, and they'll bring a lot of local talent into the AFL system.
How long goes into designing the jumper?
Yeah, it's gone back last year. I had it in my head, and myself and Daniel caught up a couple of times down at his house. Our first design wasn't like this. So it took us about 3 sessions with the club to come up with the final design. But yeah, credit to the club as well, and young Bailey that works in the digital space. He was massive in this and helping us get through this jumper. But yeah, I don't know the dates, but it would have been late last year.
How excited are you to wear it, Sonny?
How proud?
Thanks, Jono. Might get Sonny to somehow.
I'm sure there were
I'll stand
a
out.
few cup of teas over the design too, probably.
How excited are you to wear it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud. It's one of those rounds that you always look forward to playing in. Obviously, like Jono said, we have a strong representation of Indigenous and multicultural players as well. So I'm really proud to wear it, and also proud to get it done against St Kilda as well. There's some players there that I've played with and look forward to playing against again.
They gave you a bit of a rest of the body on the weekend. Is that to make sure that you would be absolutely healthy for what's an important two games in the Dockers round?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I'm not young anymore. I'm 33, so it's good that the club, we're in a position where we can rest a few players here and there, and we're playing some okay footy at times, so we just need to make sure we're more consistent with that. But it's good that I got the rest in last week to set me up for the back end of the season.
And for these 2 rounds specifically, was it really important from a timing perspective to make sure that you're right to go for when you?
Yeah, not necessarily, but it just worked out that way. Fife got rested last week, so this month was the rest period for both of us, and lucky enough I got to have a rest on the weekend, so then I can play in these 2 rounds, which over the years I've watched Jono playing them. I've watched Eddie Betts star around at Adelaide Oval and kick goals of the years in. So I'm always looking forward to playing in these rounds, and really excited to get it done this week as well.
You like coming off a sub bench sometimes, don't you? Last year I think you were injured and you came off and you said that you quite enjoyed being sub. What do you make of the strategic way the clubs are using the sub role at the moment?
Yeah, I think you can use it to benefit the team as well. So coming off as a sub last year, I think I did it for the first 2 rounds. Lucky enough to come on when everyone's tired, and like I said, my age, I was able to get around and keep up with them. So really enjoy it. I'm happy to play whatever role the club and JL wants me to play, and the role's pretty good. It can retain players here playing longer as well, and having a longer career as well.
So, Sonny, how are you travelling? And are you saying it could extend your career, the way that they're managing that sort of thing?
I hope so. Yet to find out, but it's good that the clubs can rest players in that way, and not only the older players but also the younger players as well, the guys that are in there getting banged around the midfield as well. So we use the rest or the sub as a rest, but also you use it for your players to come in and just have real impact as well back into the games.
How important is it after a tough week last week for the club, the players to come back together and be really connected this week? I know it's been a tough couple of days.
Yeah, I think that's something that we built over this pre-season, was the connection amongst each other, getting around each other whenever things get tough, but also when celebrate the good things together as well. So it's good that we created a real bond here at this football club over this. Ever since JL's come, it's not something that can be built overnight, but it's something that we've truly worked on over the last couple of months to get around each other, not only through games but off field as well.
How did you support each other post game over the weekend, given how emotional a lot of the guys were? Yeah,
like I said, the groups support each other regardless, and obviously it was a tough week last week, and we all know what happened. And for us to get together I think the boys caught up on the Saturday night and hung out, had a few yarns, and talked about Cam and shared some stories as well. It was a happy kid, and he was someone that we really enjoyed having at this football club. So it was only right that we spoke about him had a few laughs too. He definitely gave us not only the players but the staff as well heaps of laughs over his time here.
Personally, Sonny, would you have preferred not to have played if you had the choice?
On the weekend,
Yeah.
in terms of the sub or.
In terms of losing Cam, was there a moment where you thought, I don't really want to play today?
Oh, look, it's, Cam was a happy kid. Football was something that he truly loved, and for us to go out there and represent him, represent the club, represent our fans through a tough time, everyone, not only the players, but his family, his friends, close friends, but also the fans, really felt sad with what occurred. So we just wanted to go out there and try and represent him, try and represent the Freo family as much as we can, and that's what we wanted to do. We just wanted to turn a real bad situation and make sure that everyone came together. So I thought it was important that we did that.
How are you now?
Yeah, obviously, you are a bit sad, you are a bit cut. Obviously, losing someone that was quite close to here at the football club. But like I said, we've got a lot of people around us to support us and support each other. And we're looking forward to playing some footy this week and really enjoying it.
And getting on the road is probably a good chance to get together and head off to Marble. Tell us, you just hinted at playing St Kilda, and there's a couple of players you would like to get the win against in that jersey. What's it like coming up against St Kilda? They're under pressure, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, you want to go across and you want to have a real impact away from Optus Stadium. You want to get the wins away because at the back end of the year, you know how important that is. But to go away and play against the boys that I mentioned, Brad, Liam as well, important we get the win against them. But it's just, the boys that I really enjoyed playing with, boys that I have a real connection with, to go across and not only play against them, but to go across and see them again is good.